From Nashville's WSM Radio, the original home of the Grand Ole Opry, this is a Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast.
Hey, it's Charlie Matos, and in this episode of our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast, we visit with Grand Ole Opry star Lorrie Morgan. Lorrie had just played the Grand Ole Opry and was celebrating her 39th anniversary as an Opry member. So many stories, so many memories. Enjoy our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast with Lorrie Morgan.
Who's that behind those Foster Grants? Remember that campaign for Foster Grant when we were growing up?
Oh, yeah.
As Lorrie Morgan, and just crossed paths on the way out, Taylor Hicks, and you guys were reminiscing about going to Prince's Hot Chicken.
Oh, Lord. He loves hot chicken. So do I. You know I do.
Yes,
You know I do. I have it at least once or twice a week.
Do you really?
Yes,
like, you
I
love
do.
it that much?
Yes.
You probably loved hot chicken before hot chicken was cool, right?
Oh, yeah. I was a hot chicken before hot chicken was cool.
There you go.
So when you were growing up, everybody knew Prince's. I mean, Nashville was a small town. Big city, but a small town at the heart,
Yeah,
right?
so my dad actually kind of introduced it to the country artists, and because he followed his nose one night after he was leaving the Ryman, and he smelt this glorious fried chicken smell, and it led him to a little brick old block building on it was either Charlotte or Jefferson at that time, and he walked in and he said they were frying up chicken and making it hot and spicy, and he just became really good friends with the owner, Bolton. And
that's where you took Taylor, the original location, you said, when he did State Plate?
That one, the generations later, that one had to close.
Okay.
And part of the family had opened up a new one. And so that's where Prince's came from the original. So we went to Prince's, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Gotcha. How hot do you get the hot chicken? Because, there's different levels.
Well, we go to 400 degrees, which to me is it's the best hot chicken restaurant in Nashville.
Oh.
It's on Clarksville Highway.
I haven't heard about that one.
Oh, God.
Do you go as spicy as they'll make it?
No, the
Okay.
spiciest they'll make it, they go from plain to 800 degrees.
Oh, it goes by the degree. Okay.
So my son
goodness.
yesterday, we took him for his birthday, and he ordered a 400, and he was sweating
I was
and
about to
red.
say, have you ever
and-
sat there and watched the people
Oh,
sweat?
yeah,
around you?
and I got a 200.
So is it cayenne? Is that the pepper you use with chicken? Or is it a mixture?
It's a mixture. It's white pepper, cayenne pepper, paprika, sometimes habanero, sometimes
Oh,
ghost.
my goodness.
It just depends on the level.
I got to tell you, smoked paprika is underrated.
Yeah, it is.
Once
It's
you
good.
start putting it on a few things, I put it on chicken salad, and it totally
and
changes
chili.
chicken salad. Yeah. And I know it's big. I interviewed Madeleine Albright, the former Secretary of State, one time, and she was Hungarian. And it's like a staple in the Hungarian diet.
Sure,
Paprika is.
Sure, yeah. And medicinally, it's really good for you.
Oh,
hot
is it?
Peppers, because it speeds up your metabolism, and all the Hindus, the Indians, whatever, they use all those spices, and you never see those people fat.
That's so true.
That's true.
You know what I just got out of that? That Lorrie Morgan just taught us that hot chicken is healthy.
It's healthy. It's healthy. Go eat it, people.
There
Go
we
eat
go.
it.
Well, it burns off everything bad, right? So, yeah.
Well, Charlie Meadows, you had the pleasure the other night, as a part of her 39th anniversary, to share the stage at the Opry.
It was a cool night because Lorrie did "Watch Me" and "Something in Red," two monster hits. But you also did a wonderful version of a song that people know certainly from Skeeter Davis, "The
Right.
End of the World," and it was bittersweet. It was emotional. It was just wonderful.
It was, all the songs I'm doing right now are bittersweet. They were, excuse me, not just because Skeeter recorded that song, and I watched Skeeter for so many years sing that song. I just loved her, and but bittersweet because my longtime producer, Richard Landis, passed away, and he made with me all the "Watch Me" and "Something in Red" and "What Part of No" and "Except for Monday" and gosh, Guess You Had to Be There. Just so many great records, and we made together, and we were best friends for a long time. And this last album we just completed, Richard had to quit in the middle of the album because he was getting sick, and so we finished it excuse me, Lawson White and myself finished it. And then, but The End of the World, Richard had never heard that song because he wasn't born in country music. So like kind of like Picture Me Without You. When he heard that, he was like, "Where's this song been?" I said, "Duh, dude. George Jones had a big record on it when you were producing rock and roll." But anyway, "End of the World" was a very moving song the other night. But Richard and I talked about the title of the new album and all the songs that we picked out, all the songs for the new album. But I had to finish it, a lot of it, without him. So.
People who are watching on Circle TV are going to see you circa 1973 at your Opry debut. That picture is going to pop. You'll see it on the monitor there in just a little bit.
Oh, my geezness. That was at the Ryman Auditorium, and my dad was standing actually to my right behind me, because he knew if I passed out, he better be picking me up.
And if I recall from previous conversations you and I have had, you just worried the fire out of Hal Durham, who was the Opry general manager, until he finally relented.
He did. I was at his office every day knocking on his door saying, "Please make me, Lorrie, you don't have a hit record." I said, "But I love the Opry." And
how old are you in that picture, making that debut?
I was 13.
13. Oh, wow. That's really neat.
And you know what's cool about that picture, too? You see the single drum, the snare.
Yeah.
That's all that was allowed on the Opry back then.
Really?
And that was lucky to get they were lucky to get the snare. And now they have the full set. But it was a big deal when they brought a drum on the Opry.
I think Bob Wills and Texas Playboys were the first to actually get to do it.
I don't know, but I know Harold Hensley. Who was it? Harold Weekly. Harold Weekly played that drum all the time and chewed that gum.
Tell me about Dead Girl Walking. Interesting title.
Yes, interesting song. Written by one of my very dear friends, Miss Kelly Lang, and who has become just a great songwriter. And I'm so proud of her songwriting. And but that's the title of the new album, and people think it's kind of a weird title, but if you listen to the song, it kind of has a different meaning, and it's catchy. And I was tired of the same old album titles, you know. Just I wanted something to be talkable, controversial, or you know something with some depth to it.
And this is a title track of a full album that's coming out when?
Should be August on Cleopatra. Right. And we're really excited about it. Really excited about the artwork's not done yet, but wow, this is the premiere of this song.
The world premiere. Kelly Lang. She's still running with that T.G. Shepherd?
Well, you know, I've been trying to get her to get rid of him.
You think she'd move on from that?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Lorrie Morgan, Coffee, Country, and Cody, a world premiere.
Feel my heart beating, but how can that be? 'Cause when you left, you ripped it right out of me.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Lorrie Morgan is here. We're world premiering, I might add, as people watch and listen all over the world. New music, forthcoming music, August for the album, Dead Girl Walkin' from the Kelly Lang collection a little bit earlier into the break.
I'm sorry, I got to get out of that.
I got a note earlier from the Academy of Local Musicians that you're going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, the ALM, as they call it, Hall of Fame in the days ahead. The Academy of Local Musicians.
I didn't know that.
Congratulations. Surprise.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to be?
Yeah.
Well, I might cry.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
A lot of it's in conjunction with the Keith Whitley Memorial Ride in its 7th year and the tribute show that you're also a part of. That's coming up.
I am getting ready to cry, I think.
Thursday the 22nd.
Wow.
And that includes T. Graham Brown, Wade Jennings.
Yeah.
Roger Springer. I love Roger Springer. Man, oh man, do I ever. Ken Mellons, Jesse Keith Whitley.
Jesse Keith will be there.
I would have answered your call earlier, Jesse Keith, but I was on the air, okay, when you were trying to call and give your mother directions
He was trying
to the
to help
studio.
get his poor mama into the building.
Yeah, God love him. I call him now for everything. I don't know where I'm going.
So where did you and Keith meet? When do you first remember meeting him for the first
We
time?
actually first met at Acuff House studio. He was in the studio recording with Don Gant, which was his first producer.
Okay.
And he was recording a song called "Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind?" And he was the first one to record it. And before he could get it out, George Strait found it and put it out. And Keith's mom would always call him and go, "I heard you on the radio this morning." He's like, "Mom, that wasn't me. That was George Strait." But I was a receptionist at Acuff House, and I would go back and do the demos for some of the writers, Mickey Newberry, Don Gibson, excuse me, and a bunch of Acuff House writers. So I was in the back grabbing a Coke, and I heard this song, this singer, Keith, in the studio, and I snuck in there to see who it was, and I fell in love at first sight. I was like, oh my God, he is so cute, and his voice is so great. And
Did he have the permed hair thing
yeah.
going?
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
He got that perm hair. Jesse said, "Mom, why do you let Dad wear his hair like that?" Well, have you seen mine back there? I had it big with the ponytail clip in.
Y'all got perms together.
Yeah. But his hair was naturally wavy, but not that curly. But I don't know if it was that big then. But he was still married then, and I just met him and his wife at that day, and then we kind of ran into each other at Ralph Emery's early morning show a lot, and then I heard him one night on going to the Friday Night Opry, and I heard Keith Bilbrey introduce us. Well, I heard the song when I got in. It was halfway through. It was called Miami, Miami. And I was in my car, and I pulled off on Briley Parkway. I just had goosebumps all over me. And I heard, I was on my way, to do an 8 o'clock show or something like that. And Keith Bilbrey, at the end of the song, he said, "Well, that's a new record, number 15 this week by a brand new artist, Keith Whitley. He'll be on tonight at 7:50. And, buddy, I floored that car. I was like, I got to get there to see Keith Whitley. And that night he asked me out. I mean, he said he got my number and asked me out the next day, and the rest is history.
You're like Charlene Darling. Paul, can I look at the pretty man?
Yeah, I wanted to.
And now we can say Country Music Hall of Famer Keith Whitley.
Yes,
Yeah, man.
Doesn't that sound
yes,
good?
we can.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yes,
amazing.
we can. God love
There's
him.
those double perms right there in that photo our Circle TV viewers are seeing.
No, wait, I didn't have a perm there. That was just teased.
That's just teased up curling curls, right?
That's some hard hairspray right there.
That's the beauty parlor look.
Yes,
That's
it
what they call it,
is.
the beauty parlor.
That was
And-
at the ACMs out in California.
And I couldn't believe earlier this morning there was a reference to your dad, to the Hall of Famer George Morgan.
Yep.
He was 51 when he passed away.
51.
And you were
years
16?
old. Yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
He was
and
that young.
Oh my gosh, it's just crazy. My dad had, their lifestyles back then. The country artists. Dad was one of the artists that never had a bus. I mean, he drove himself around the country with Gene Shepard and little Jimmy Dickens and Stonewall Jackson, and they all would get in them station wagons with the bass fiddle on top, and
Hard living.
hard living
On the road, yeah.
And a lot of that hard living was the reason for his early death. But I was 16. He was the love of my life, and life was over for me as I knew it. And he told my mom right before he had open heart surgery, one of the last things he told her was, "If something happens to me, be sure Lorrie gets her chance." And
Wow.
it's just Dad was so special. He was so special at the Opry. I mean, he had the ugly list, and he was just a funny guy.
That's why we brought up that name today, right?
That's it.
I'm going to tell you, you wouldn't believe the people that made the ugly list.
Some of them made it more than once, didn't they?
Some of them made them a lot every week. Hal Durham was on there every week.
Lorrie Morgan, thank you so much, love, for coming to see us this morning.
It's my pleasure.
And happy 39th Opry anniversary.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And please leave us a 5-star review. This podcast was produced through the facilities of WSM Radio in Nashville, Tennessee. The hosts of Coffee, Country, and Cody are Bill Cody, Charlie Matos, and Kelly Sutton. Producer, Eric Markham. WSM General Manager and Director of Content and Programming, J. Patrick Tittle. Copyright 2023. Opry Entertainment Group Holdings, LLC.